Welcome to Info for Mystery. Issues in the education system. Education is a fundamental human right. But many children still do not have the opportunity to learn, especially if they live in poverty or girls. In International Education Day, UNESCO is calling on the world to prioritize quality education. Education is meant to be the generous guardian of a nation. But the poor state of education in this country remains a liberal manifestation of the fact that it has no power to protect its own sector. 62 years later and 23 policies and action plans have been unveiled, but the education sector is awaiting the arrival of a savior. The education system includes all institutions involved in the provision of formal education, public and private, for-profit and non-profit, on-site or virtual education, and their skills, students, physical infrastructure, resources, and rules. In a broader sense, the system includes institutions directly involved in the financing, management, operation, or regulation of such institutions, such as government and regulatory ministers, central test organizations, book boards, and accreditation boards. Policies and regulations that guide individual and institutional interactions within the setup are also part of the education system. Introduction. In all aspects of the school and the surrounding educational community, the rights of the whole child, and all children, safety, protection, development, and participation are central. This means that emphasis is on learning, which strengthens the ability of children to act in order of their own name by collecting relevant knowledge, useful skills, and appropriate attitudes, and caring for children, and helping them create for themselves and others places for safety, security, and healthy relationships. Here there are some issues of education system that is described as under: lack of parental involvement, teachers' out-of-date knowledge base, cultural and religious attitudes, technological developments, attrition rate, poor parenting/guardianship, opportunity costs, efficiency and quality. Attrition rate. One of the problems facing the education system is the surprising progress of teachers. Only those who are not involved in education will claim that this is an easy profession. In fact, it is a very demanding profession with a frequent overwhelming amount of pressure and responsibility attached to it. However, it can also be a very important profession. Unfortunately, many teachers do not have enough to overcome difficult responsibilities to maintain the profession for an indefinite period of time. 46% of new teachers in this country stop teaching after 5 years or less, with a percentage that grows up to 50% in cities. The more shocking is the fact that 90% of the teachers who have been recruited in this country are teachers' alternatives to leave their education for one reason other than retirement. These types of numbers can really turn your head on. It is painful to think that these teachers have invested at least 4 years in college to do something that they cannot take 5 years or more. For us educators, the types of numbers are really scary. Lack of parental involvement. Another problem where education is today, and one that is easily seen as a reason for the low level of teachers' criticism, the lack of involvement of parents that most teachers must handle. Perhaps many of us remember that our parents are fully involved in our care, whether they are part of the PTA or just ask for your grades and homework every day when you go home. Unfortunately, the involvement of the parents is declining today. Although there is still a large degree of participation at the level of primary school, high school, and high school teachers, that is not the case in most of their students. It is something that teachers can actively avoid. The responsibility to try to join the parents seemed hesitant and reluctant to part of their children's education. This is a way to solve this problem. If parents are involved in education, teenagers usually have higher grade level grades, higher test scores about standards and appraisal in class, enrollment in tighter academic courses, more classes, more credits earned on graduation, and higher graduation rates. Poor parenting/guardianship. Parenting, caring, protection, supervision are the basic needs of a child. Requires that the order be maintained for him or her to meet the challenges of life, in accordance with the laws of the country. Out of despair, many parents have decided to make further changes, not only through encouragement, but also through financial activities in and around site testing to result in malicious practices to please chances of their children or departments in a qualifying study. Higher institutions and some continue with this work through the tertiary education level. Teachers' out-of-date knowledge base. Modern times are full of opportunities. To exploit these opportunities, the only will is a requirement. The possibilities for updating yourself are also many. Teachers are letting their knowledge of modern theories and practices of education. If they do not know modern parenting theories and do not know the new concepts of the relevant subject, it is logical to use old methods of teaching and use dated hypotheses. In this way, the students have no new knowledge. As a result, they will not be able to complete and lose their enthusiasm for further study. People who are not getting jobs in other sectors have tried their luck in the education system. These are not professional trained teachers, so they cannot train a country. Opportunity costs. In the decision to send their children to school, parents are confronted with a balance between the current consumption of households and the future income prospects for children. There are direct and indirect costs of labor for children at home or on paid work, their hours of non-school education, such as learning to work in a family business or a family farm. The opportunity costs therefore refer to the monetary income or other contributions that a household or an individual sacrifices, for example to keep a child in school. The role of opportunity cost generation. Opportunities for learning is underexposed. It has been noted that even stagnation, failure, prevention, and other wasteful factors are often regarded as reasons for the low efficiency of the educational systems within the embedded assumptions. Does not represent the complexity of phenomena with external factors that can violate the educational system. Cultural and religious attitudes. The methods of cultural identification to identify women and men and their role in a particular society create opportunities and gender-specific limitations. For example, the presence of discrimination behavior in girls' education has been characterized by customs and culture. Behavioral barriers appear in many societies when girls reach adulthood and cause more effect in maintaining girls than access. In some tribes, when a girl reaches adulthood, she teaches the wisdom and knowledge of her society to maintain and develop it. These instructions are considered to be directly related to a girl and prepare her for life as a wife and mother in a village. At times there is a conflict between what is being learned at home and at school, which can lead parents to join girls living in school. In fact, the behavior of girls is often directly related to the many tribal and traditional taboos who dictated what and what should not be done at different stages of their development that may be contradictory to the needs of education. Efficiency and quality. Reports make a lot of progress that increases school costs. It is clear that repetition is the key to improving overall efficiency and achieving the right level of justice. Difficult teachers and insufficient support for poor children must be accused of higher repeat ratios and declines. Repetition is always tighter in the middle of the neediest, that is, parents have the lowest level of education and income. Characteristics of the student, such as gender, ethnicity, family influence, place of residence, age, first repetition, national language policy, access to secondary school, quality of teaching and school characteristics such as management policy cover by colleagues. They have determined that they affect students' learning, students' motivation, and self-esteem, the speed of the exam, the enrollment speed, the drop rate and the time it takes to create a graduate. The development of language skills of teachers, the availability of textbooks, physical facilities of the school and the level of health and nutrition of the students are powerful determining factors for school success. The poor quality of education in schools has helped to reverse and drop the problem. Technological developments. Developments create other problems for education and society. This includes the possibility of extra information where knowledge is expected to be 4 times and changes in natural knowledge and what we believe. Education must learn to address the rapid rise of inventions such as laptop computers, interactive video technology and robots with artificial intelligence. Technology make men lazy and many students rely on technology rather than thinking their own ideas. Thank you.